What happens when you take ashwagandha for 30 days? Is it worth the hype? Is it dangerous? Or is it just another garbage supplement being sold to you by the fitness industry? Before we break down ashwagandha, I do need to say that all of this is simply educational. As always, consult with your doctor before taking any supplement. Before we get into my personal experience taking ashwagandha, it's important to look at what it actually is. Ashwagandha is an evergreen shrub that grows in Asia, Africa, and some Middle Eastern countries. Its use varies, but it's been known to reduce inflammation, reduce pain, and increase activity. However, ashwagandha's most common use is that of an adaptogen, an herbal medicine used to lower stress and anxiety. Herbal medicine is a tricky subject. Too far to one side and you have essential oil gurus who like to hunt for crystals, and too far to the other side you have people who are overly dependent on pharmaceuticals. So as a natural herbal supplement, what does science have to say about it? Supplementation with ashwagandha has some pretty extensive research behind it, and they seem to fall into three distinct categories: sleep, stress, and performance. Let's look at sleep first. In this 2019 study, researchers looked at the effect of supplementing with 600 milligrams of ashwagandha on patients with insomnia and anxiety. During this study, researchers examined four categories: how fast participants fell asleep, how long they slept for, their sleep efficiency, and how many times they woke up in the night. And at the end of the 10 weeks, results showed improvements in all four categories, as well as anxiety. Stress is one of the main reasons that people take ashwagandha, and fortunately for us, there's no shortage of scientific evidence and studies for this. In three of the more recent studies performed in ashwagandha, researchers found that the users who took it not only reported less stress, but actually had their cortisol numbers decrease. And this alone is really significant. Anyone can say that they feel less stress in their life, but when their cortisol numbers actually decrease, it somewhat validates their experience. And this is really significant. If you're a highly stressed or anxious person, or find yourself in highly stressful environments, then supplementing with ashwagandha could potentially be beneficial. Lastly, and probably one of the most interesting effects of ashwagandha, is its effect on performance. This is something I wasn't even aware of before looking into the research, but there are several studies showing the increase in athletic performance when taking ashwagandha. For instance, in this study, elite cyclists increased their cardio endurance and their aerobic capacity. And in this study, an increase in squat and bench press power was seen when supplementing with 500 milligrams of ashwagandha. Why this happened is largely unknown, but it could be attributed to the increase in testosterone production that sometimes comes with ashwagandha supplementation. There hasn't been a ton of research on this, but in this study alone, researchers found a 10 to 20% increase in testosterone production when taking ashwagandha. So all of this research seems to be the nail in the coffin when it comes to supplementing with ashwagandha. But what happens with long-term supplementation? While the research is lacking in this department, personal experiences aren't. In fact, one of the most common side effects that people report when taking ashwagandha long-term is something called anhedonia. Anhedonia is the inability to feel pleasure from anything in life that you normally would feel pleasure from. From what I've found, it doesn't seem to be a side effect in any of the research we've looked at, so it may be something that occurs after long-term use. People often report that they're unmotivated and are generally more apathetic. It's almost like it removes so much stress from your life that nothing matters at all. Personally, I only took ashwagandha for 30 days, and fortunately for me, I didn't experience any of these unwanted side effects. Overall, I felt slightly less stressed and felt like I slept better, but it wasn't really anything drastic. So based on the research, my own experience, and looking into a lot of the personal anecdotes, it seems that short-term use of ashwagandha could potentially be beneficial. And truthfully, if you were going to try it out, I'd recommend using it around a stressful time in your life. Ashwagandha may be a useful tool to lower stress, improve your mood, and potentially improve your performance in the gym. According to the data that we currently have, it seems to be relatively safe, has lots of benefits, and is relatively affordable. But some personal experience has also said otherwise. And this is often the case with supplements. Some people have seen great results with creatine, and others haven't seen any results at all. Or even worse, they've seen side effects. Hair loss, liver damage, acne, the list goes on and on. But fortunately for you, we made this video right here where we explain what creatine is, why it's beneficial, and what side effects you may or may not experience when taking it. And before we go, I do want to take this time to invite you to our free private Facebook group. We made this group so people could openly ask questions, get answers, and grow the community that we're building. So if you find our videos helpful to you or are interested in joining the community, make sure you join in the description below. We'll see you next video.